Hey there, it's CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. And I do want to invite you to come check us out if you're on vacation and you're passing through. Stop, we'll take care of you. We'll make a great destination too. Come check us out. So I wanted to say all that before I bored the hell out of you because now I'm sitting here in front of a keyboard. I don't really play with this thing enough, and I want to. But first, before I really get into it, I want to know what it can do. Now, honestly, I can play some chords, whatever. I can make some noise with it. Uh, what I want to do though is I want to experiment with the different voices, the different things that this called they call it timbre, the different sounds that it can make. So that we just heard was its um, acoustic grand piano, basically the default. Um, that's the default. So anyway, what we want to do here is we want to go to number one, music box. Check out the difference already. Now, some of these I've played, and I'm just going to skip around some of the ones that I played in the first one because I've already heard them. And then I'll try to get through pretty quickly into the 0030s because those are the ones that I'm kind of new at. And it's like, yay. But my whole idea is just kind of like to get an idea of what I can do. This is a 010, or as I like to call it, a Bo Derek, a 10. Some of you from the 1970s will know what I'm talking about. Okay, so honestly, when that movie came out, I was like a wee little boy and did not. I didn't think anybody was a 10. I didn't think that of Bo Derek for damn sure, but much less anybody else. It was like. It's called a string ensemble. And so here's the thing. When I was a little kid, my whole world was just me and my sister. We moved around a lot, from house to house and stuff. It's just, we were renters, and it's like, so we relied on each other. Plus, we had 3 networks and some UHF, and that consisted of musical kids theater, Sesame Street, the Electric Company, stuff like that. But we also had, 3 networks before cable, because cable wasn't everywhere when it first came out. It wasn't even an option. So, you're looking at the Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, the Muppet Show in the evenings, Donnie and Marie, those were our whole that was our thing, kids musical shows, and cartoons were musical, like even Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, had musical loops. We had the Osmonds cartoon, we had Jackson 5, which sometimes sometimes we lived someplace where they would air and sometimes we didn't. But it's whatever, even then it was like, I know, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to talk about Bill Cosby anymore, but that was a good show though, and for kids. And yeah, and what I liked about that is it actually kind of like bridged that I would watch it and I wouldn't care that it was a bunch of back then we black kids. I don't know, I didn't think in those terms. It was like kids hanging around a junkyard and or urban whatever. I don't know. Like, all I know is they were fun characters. So, and we had to do picture pages with Bill Cosby. Sorry. Anyway, what was I? Oh yeah, so I had like an older sister and older kids in the neighborhood, and I was not. I was out of nursery. You know what I mean? I was like a kid, like 4 or 5, maybe 6 years old or whatever. So I was at that age where I could tag along in the neighborhood and run free range. It was the age of free range children. And because my sister and I each had each other to look after each other, so we weren't worried about like you know, you ran in packs, and so when you run in packs, you didn't worry about getting abducted or anything like that. It's only when you're just, run off and walk by yourself that you get snatched up. So whatever. But so we love to sing neighborhood singing games off these shows and everything like that. Of course, when you do that, and even we're a very musical family, and I didn't play instruments or anything like that, but the kids who were always putting on shows for the adults and stuff like that. So whatever. But uh, being the baby, I did not sing lead. I didn't. I hardly ever got. The one time I got to do a lead in a play that the little kids were putting on and whatever. It's just for a little group of people, as we did the boy who cried wolf, and I got to be the little fucker that kept crying wolf. Whatever. Because I was the only boy in a group of girls at that time. What you do is you want to do. Yeah. So we sang, but because I didn't sing lead, I sang backup, and so uh, what that meant was my sister was learning the lead parts of these songs that we would hear on the radio or TV or whatever, and my I was to learn the harmony, and harmony by a chorus, like almost a Greek chorus style, is what backup singers do. It's two or three people, and each voice hits a different note, and they come together and harmonize and make a chord. And that's what I tried to do. I tried to match that chord with a singular voice. And so, therefore, I think because of that, I think uh, my sing song voice is more harmonic naturally, and I am more attuned to singing harmony notes because I can blend somewhere in a good harmony. I can fit in there. It's very hard for me to sing a lead, and I'll tell you, it is hard for me to sing a singular note and then to let someone sing above or below me and try to make a harmonizing chord with three different voices singing in three different keys, trying to come across a harmonizing uh, chord, if you will, because naturally in my mind I want my voice to, you know, match the harmony that's trying to be created, and so uh, it's not that I'm tone deaf. It's just my voice wants to go to where that chord is, but my part in singing with multiple harmony parts, my part is not the chord. My part is a note within that chord, and so that's what I'm trying to think about when I think of music. But even as today, what I do, and I don't do musical theater. I don't do any kind of theater that much really anymore. But I used to, and some of the things I would do would be musical, and it was like, okay, I had to think about that. That was my thing. But no, there are a lot more performing artists out in the world than what you know. Most people who are performing artists do not. It's a very competitive, and most do not make a living. Uh, if you were to qualify yourself as a performing artist and think that you're going to make a living, most people do not. Uh, and then the ones that do, it's like maybe they've got 5, 6 years in the spotlight. So if you hit it big and get that spotlight on you, uh, live reservedly, uh, and your fortune will last you. Because if you have your moment, your grand moment, and everybody does get that, uh, it is fleeting, and you have those moments of chance, and you can get things together and put things the way that they're supposed to be, and then all of a sudden, okay, yeah. So that's my little advice. When you get your bits of good fortune, uh, enjoy it, but remember, there's going to be a time where you're going to need reserve. Okay, so anyway, that's what got me talking about that. That was the harmonizing strings, or the where the hell number 10, right? Yeah, string ensemble. Okay, I want to move ahead a little bit. Um, Where were we? Uh, 24 soft clav. Let's see. I played this one, but I forgot what it was. I don't know. I think that's pretty basic. I don't know. I don't know why that made an impression on me. I don't know. Synth harpsichord. Doesn't sound that different than some of the other voices on here. Maybe a difference in like intensity, maybe, but that's about it. So, what's a wood block? I don't know. I know there's a didgeridoo way down at 21, and that really only sounds good in the very basis. So I know some of these instruments where I'm finding some of the timbres, they sound like how I want them or how I think they're going to sound when I play them in their natural keys or their natural, like if it's an instrument that's a C instrument, like a keyboard, then it sound, piano, they sound good around middle C, and then some of the basses, they sound great, down here. And then some of the, like there's a tubular bells on here, by the way, that really, I have to say, I love the idea of tubular bells, but here, where are we? They don't sound wonderful on this instrument. It's number 30. Anyway, whatever. It does not sound. It's not because I don't know how to play the actual song. I mean, they don't sound like how I imagine tubular bells would sound, even at the high end of it. But whenever I hear just the instrument of it, I think Mike Oldfield's tubular bells. He was he was from a family of musicians, and he normally backed his brothers, sisters, cousins, stuff like that. And then I guess he got to be around 18 or whatever. He just kind of like went into his room, just kind of like for a couple of years, just worked on this great big huge composite, this composition of music that he composed, and he was just putting like every thought and feeling in his entire life into this music, and it became Tubular Bells. And of course, it probably would have just laid around, maybe made some circuits and everything, but it wouldn't have been what it was if a little bit of that, the opening bit, had not been discovered and used as an eerie October theme in the movie The Exorcist. When Chris McNeil is walking from her movie set back home, and they play that bit of music, that's the Tubular Bells. And so I think most people know that. But that's the only thing they know about Mike Oldfield. Mike Oldfield had a few hits in the 80s as shorter. He wanted to get some radio cuts. I think he did a couple of music videos. He even did one with Bonnie Tyler called Islands. Bonnie Tyler, the Welsh singer who did Total Eclipse of the Heart and I Need a Hero, and earlier than that, It's a Heartache, because her first representation, they like, hey, you're a female, you should sing country, and she's like, I can do that, but I've got a powerhouse voice. I can sing big power ballads, and boy, could she ever. And she was singing songs that had been offered to mega belters, theatrical folks like, Meatloaf. Meatloaf was offered Total Eclipse of the Heart, and Bonnie Tyler did Total Eclipse of the Heart. So, yeah. So, yeah. As a matter of fact, her video for Total Eclipse of the Heart looks a lot like Meatloaf's video for I Would Do Anything for Love, but I won't do that. Uh, Meaning that there's not something that somebody's asking him to do for love. He's saying, I would do a whole bunch of these things. I would do everything. But before he's saying all that, he's saying all the things, uh, I would never break your heart. I will do anything for love, but I will not do that. That meaning I won't break your heart. That's what that sounds like. See how I get sidetracked talking about stuff? Okay, so I'm up to the part where I'm looking at some different instruments that I've not explored before. The last one that I did was steel bell, and I thought that sounded horrible. I did a chorus guitar. I did an attack clav number 1036. Did I? Let's see what that is. Because there was a soft clav. Maybe it is like soft clav or soft clave. Maybe that means that it's going to come out softer, and then attack means it's bigger. Maybe that's what they mean by here. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing a pattern here. Let's see what the synth harpsichord does. 037. I think I'm back in my rotation here. I don't know. It doesn't sound very harpsichordish. It almost sounds electric piano, but not. Harpsichord to me has a very soft sound, And I know I'm not living in the past or anything, but I used to live with the guy who was a musician, and he was part of a Baroque musical group in Louisiana. And so they went around playing chamber music, and one of his instruments of preference was a harpsichord. This almost sounds more harpsichordish because it's electric. Harpsichord to me has an electric vibe to it. My Mike Oldfield inspired rhythm. You're going to find some more throughout the past. If you look into the past of pop music, especially the 80s where synth pop goes, you're going to find out that Mike Oldfield, in what he created in his album Tubular Bells, which was about 45 minutes or so, just straight play-through music, played straight through, where he was just pouring out emotion after emotion after emotion. And then he starts naming off the different instruments that he used to compose it. It's like, wow, this dude could play the hell out of some music. Because it was him playing all that on the record and recording. And later on, he recruited people to play it live or whatever. And so they did a lot of work. But yeah, he composed and played all that himself, but on the album. What it is, a lot of looping and stuff, a lot of studio work. What happened was, there's a lot of people got influenced with that, and you'll hear those influences even as early as Axel F, the theme from Beverly Hills Cop, which later became Axel F, and then you have that Crazy Frog, and it's like one of the oldest videos posted to YouTube. Woohoo, and then the Axel F music, Axel Foley, Axel F music playing behind it. So Herbie Hancock, a lot of what he did, yes, he was a great musical person, but a lot of what Herbie Hancock did as a keyboardist and a producer was inspired, had to have been, from the works of people in the celestial new age kind of art rocky thing that was created almost all the way really by Mike Oldfield in the creativity of his own personal angst-ridden bedroom. So now we're moving to Twin Bones number 38. If it sounds like I've got like a musical heart going for Mike Oldfield, I always have. He's been my musical crush ever since I've been aware of uh, what he's done for music and the talent that he has. Actually, he's got I don't know if I talked about this. He's got a record called Earth Moving, and on that's one of his themes where he's done like some single cuts trying to get some radio play. Earth Moving, and I want to say it was the first album that he did after Tubular Bells too. He was doing some stuff like his record company that had him ever since. Uh, I want to say Tubular Bells, and they just kept pushing him. Do us a Tubular Bells. Do us a Tubular Bells sequel, and Tubular Bells Part Two. And he was just like, I'm not feeling that. I'm not going to do it. It's not what I'm doing. And they kept pushing him, and he switched uh, record labels. Went with a different record label, and the very first record he did for that new record label was Tubular Bells 2, and it was brilliant. But it was also kind of an fu to the record label that he was kissing off, and I really liked that because he did for in the late '70s going into the '80s, he did kind of have some sort of artistic, almost a punk type fervor, but what he was doing was ultra creative, and it was if you listen to some of those early things, it's everything that the romantic era uh, of new wave would become. Like new wave was like uh, the bridge between punk and folk music, kind of like a softening of punk rock, a little bit more accessible to people because it was just a mite gentler. Uh, and then came the dance influence, but Mike Oldfield was capturing all that first, before Depeche Mode, before any of that. Mike Oldfield was doing his ambient blends with pop sensibilities uh, around this time that he did Tubular Bells 2. And then right after that, he did Earth Moving. And the song from that I most identify with from the album Earth Moving is a song called Runaway Son. And that song, the lyrics of that song, actually, it's my life story. Like, not personally, but yeah, very well fucking personally. If you listen to that song, you will know everything that I'm about. And I was that way until I became, well, too old to be a runaway son. But yeah, that was great. So we're moving on. Where were we? Twin Bones. And we're going to do a hard vibe. Ah, everybody likes to get a hard vibe. I'm never going to get finished with all. I'm not going to do these all. I'll tell you in one thing here because I'm only on number 40 now, and I've skipped around like. But I love to talk about what the notes, what they remind me of, because that kind of sinks in. Hey, when I'm feeling this vibe, this is where I want to go. When I'm feeling that, it's where I want to go. This, and I'm playing middle of the road, sounds like the Dig-Dee-Doo. But it's much deeper. What is this? I don't know. It sounds like something I only want to play with down here because I love that. That is some super bassy stuff. It sounds like it would smack some speakers. What did I say that was? Number 40? Yeah. Yeah, that was a number 40. So, Kalimba number 1, 41. Kalimba number 1. Is it Calypso? I don't know. Phenomena. I don't know. Phenomena. Church bells. Church bells, huh? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Where can I find this? I do know this song. It's fine. It's just a matter of finding the right starting point for me. Oh boy, I'm way out of practice. Anyway, that's church bells. So let's move on from there. Church bells. No, I must be blind. Barathon. I jumped way ahead. I wasn't even near church bells. That's Barathon. Whatever. I don't have any thoughts or. Okay, bagpipe number 1. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. From glen to glen and grassy green, I don't know. Almost the same. Do you remember that, who was it? And they did the song, that little, you raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. It's almost the exact same chord and the same feel as a oh Danny boy, the pipes are calling. So yeah, nothing new, and even Christianity feels it all's fair in love and art. Because I'll tell you something, the old hymnals we used to sing, that's no big deal. The old hymnals that we used to sing growing up, they were borrowed from classical music, and they were sometimes uh, bar songs or whatever that were, retooled or repurposed. Red River Valley, from this valley they say you are going. It's the same kind of way. In the sweet by and by, what's the opening line? Yep, some of you people know this faster than I can recall it because you're still practicing fundamentalist. There's a land that is fairer than day, and by faith we can see it afar. But my Father, he waits there in heaven to prepare us a dwelling, they say. I don't know, but whatever. So it's the same thing. So that's something that will happen. You'll hear, like in church, you'll hear the friend who used to play in church, and he would play music, and sometimes he would play Mary Had a Little Lamb underneath everything. So it's funny. And only like he would do that because some of the people that he was tutoring or working with and teaching instruments to, he'd be like, "Hey, listen, listen, I'm going to play this and see if you can spot it underneath." You know, and every once in a while, somebody in the audience. Or the congregation, I should say, audience congregation would pick up on it, but maybe they wouldn't say anything because it's like, oh, no, it's a little game he would like to play with people. Let's see. Did I just spoil a fun surprise? I mean, whatever. I don't really like him anymore, so it's okay if I did. That's called Crystal. What? Uh, yeah, Crystal, number 45. You know what I would play this? If that old Fleetwood Mac song, Do you always trust your first initial feeling? Special knowledge holds true. Bears believing I turned around in the water. Okay, this is Attack the Clavicle. Honestly, I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do a synth harpsichord, and then I'm gonna fade out. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day. No, just reminds me of trolley music. Oh, ooh, one more Woodstock. I don't want to end, but oh, yeah, whatever. Because I'm starting to get some of these sounds are starting to repeat, like they're similar instruments, but they're starting to repeat with stronger intensity. So I'm kind of glad I'm circling through here because I'll kind of be able to say, okay, this is the quality of the voicing that I want, but then I want a stronger sound of it so I can go from like 12 to 67, and it's the same instrument, just more power. So if I want to do power chords with it or whatever, and then go back and forth. That's good to know. Hey, I'm going to run out of time here. I've been talking way over longer than I thought this thing would allow me. So let me go ahead and say for the end of this video, I do love you. If you've gotten this far, God bless you. I do love you. Love and light, peace. Good night. And yes, I'm going to post this. This is too ridiculous to not post. Bye.